Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Steve, and we are back, and today I got a really nice review for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at a genuine USMC 1217 K-Bar knife. Designation 1217 Fighting Utility Knife. So, let me just start off by saying the cost of this. This by no means is a cheap knife. Some of the more wealthier knife collectors or outdoorsmen out there will classify this as a budget knife. Um, that's possibly because they are in the United States and prices tend to be cheaper there. I'm in Canada, prices tend to be a bit more. And here in Canada, this cost me about 120, brand spanking new. But I think it is absolutely worth it, and I'm going to tell you why. On to the specs. Here we are. It comes in this beautiful leather sheath, genuine leather. It's not fake. It has K-Bar, the United States Marine Corps' logo, and the USMC abbreviation right there, kind of burnt onto the sheath, like branded on there by the looks of it. Has a lanyard or drainage hole right up here, which is nice, but I don't recommend getting the leather sheath wet, so you probably won't really need the drainage hole. But you could use it for a lanyard, if it's on your leg. Of course you wouldn't put it right here, but if it is on your leg, you could maybe tie it on somehow. It has a very large belt loop, about 4 inches of room, so you could get a fairly large duty belt on here, much like my U.S. Army surplus duty belt that I got. Funny how I got it. It's a U.S. Army surplus pistol belt, which I got at a Canadian surplus store. And the knife itself. Well, before we go to that, one last other detail. It's got this nice strap here, much more tighter than my last K-Bar, which was also real. I used to have the 1218. That's the one like this, but with the serrations and the blade bent, so I gave it to a friend. And there's a whole long story there we're not going to get into. But it has a button snap, which is much better than the Velcro. And just like the rest of the sheath, the strap is leather, which is very nice. Now onto the knife itself. Okay, I'm just going to put the sheath over here. Okay, so the knife itself, here's one side of it. Got a nice blood groove up there. False edge on the top here for added penetration ability. It says, what does that say? K-Bar, Olean, New York. On the other side, what does it say? Kind of hard to see, but USMC. It is a 7-inch powder-coated 1095 Crowvan steel blade. The handle are stacked leather washers. The crossguard, I'm assuming, is also the 1095 Crowvan steel, but I could be wrong about that. And then you have the pommel, which, like I said about the other two parts of the knife, I also believe is 1095 Crowvan. There it is. Solid steel, so you can use the pommel for hammering intense stakes or caving in somebody's head in a combat situation. Just kidding, maybe not, who knows. This is not a full tang knife, however. A lot of people mistake the K-Bar as being a full tang knife, but it's actually a rat tail tang. A rat tail tang differs from a full tang, whereas a full tang knife, the tang goes all the way through the handle. You'd be able to see it up here and go all the way around the end of it. In this case, this is a rat tail tang. Yes, it has a tang, which it's a solid piece that goes from the blade all the way through the handle to the end, as you can see there. But this is known as a rat tail tang because it's much thinner, like a rat's tail. It's a thin piece of metal. It's not as strong as a full tang, however, given it's a K-Bar, given it uses 1095 Crowvan, this shouldn't let you down. Me personally, I'm not going to use this outside for tasks because I'd much more like to preserve it as the legendary knife it is. I use my cheaper knives or my Schrade Bowie for bushcraft. Yeah, but it's up to you. This knife will hold up outdoors, but I don't intend to use mine for it. It's brand new, and I don't really want to muck it up. So, the handguard here, I'd like to mention something. I really like how they did this. It's not too large, and it's not too small. It's going to protect your finger enough should you thrust, so your finger does not slip onto the razor sharp blade. And this is razor sharp from the factory, which is really nice that they did that for the buyer. But it's not so large that, let's say you want to choke up on the blade to make some fire shavings or carvings, it's not too much in the way, which is nice. It has a very large handle, and I have about medium-sized hands, but I still have, like, all the way down to the pommel, I still have maybe about ½ an inch there, which is nice. So let's say you're wearing gloves, maybe it's winter, or maybe you just wear gloves when you're doing your bushcraft to protect your hands. This will allow you to wear gloves. If you excuse me for a minute, I just got to answer my phone. Sorry about that brief interruption, guys. I just had to get dinner. Pizza. Good. So as I was saying, I was at the crossguard, right? Don't want to get pizza grease on the other sheath. Yeah, the crossguard's a perfect size, really. Blood groove there. If any of you are wondering what the blood groove is for, it's so that when you stab somebody, when the knife goes in, the body will kind of create a suction holding the knife in. So the blood groove is designed to break some of that suction so you can pull the knife back out. I just read that online, so if any of you didn't know, that's truly what it's for. But yeah, as I said, it has a false edge on the back of the blade, which makes it to a sharper point, which adds in thrusting. Razor sharp edge on it. Leather stacked handle. Okay, let's wrap this video up. Okay, so personal opinions. What do I think of this knife? I think this is a 110% amazing knife. The United States Marine Corps and other branches of the U.S. military have been using this knife since, what was it, 1945 or something? And it's still used today, and it still has yet to be improved upon because it's so good. Well, I mean, it has been improved upon, you know, with serrations and craton handles and Kydex sheaths, but truly, I mean, it's not like they changed up the metal type because the 1095 is so good. So, yeah, I think this is a 110% excellent knife. I would really like to see maybe a full tang version in the future where it has the full actual tang going all the way around for added strength, because I have had one of these before. I assume because it was a military knife, my previous one I had, that it would be able to handle a rough task. So I went into my semi-frozen lawn, dug a hole with it, and it was bent. Not this one, the one before. And that pissed me off because I had paid a lot of money for a military knife and it ultimately failed on me. So I'm not going to mess around with this one because I want to preserve it. My conclusions on this knife. Like I said, it's a 110% really good knife. It's a genuine issue, and if the United States Marine Corps can trust it, you know, when fighting Muslims and other gross Middle Eastern terrorists in the Middle East who should just all be killed off, in my opinion, you know, if it can work for them, it can work for a bushcraftsman. You don't have to spend $400 on some piece of shit, ugly little knife that's like that big. Ooh, it's $400 because some old man in his garage handmade it out of Damascus. No, you just really need to spend no more than 120, and you can get yourself an excellent actual military knife with a proper size blade that will last you for hunting, bushcraft, hiking, you know, protection when you're hunting, protection from maniacs and crackheads, you know, whatever. This is a good knife. So there you go, guys. There's my at-home review. One more up close look. There's my at-home review of the Ka-Bar 1217. Please like, subscribe, leave a nice comment, and now I'm going to eat my dinner.